Can you see, everybody? Everybody, can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Give me 1 second. We're going to get started to teach. Let me get my microphone. Mic check 1, 2. Hope everybody feeling all right. Right back. Right with it. Yeah. All right, y'all. We getting ready to get started. Everybody logging on. Got your pencils and your papers. We getting ready to teach today. Y'all supposed to be on Moorish time, not on NBC time. Y'all know what NBC time is? You know what NBC time is, Mom?
Yes. Negro, black, and colors.
Come on, man. Y'all supposed to be on time, man. Our time is precious. So get your pencils and your papers. Thanks for the donation, Morris.
ABC, African American.
Right. Same old. Get your pencils and your papers, Morris. We get ready to teach. We know how a lot of Morris, they come late. Some people life depended on it, man. Just for being on time. Ooh, man. That'd be scary. But hold on. That would be scary. Very scary. Very scary. All right. Coming out like Tyson. Yeah. Telling y'all, man. A lot of people be missing this education. I hope after we done with our fasting, I call it a forced fasting, because a lot of us need to force fast. I hope we don't go back to the garbage that we was supporting. Because I promise y'all, Moors, my will is matched with Allah's will. And we're going to have this temple rocking and rolling, man, and we're going to start doing some real things. And I'm telling Moors, you should want to be a part of something that's real. You should want to be a part of something that's real, man. So, with that being said, let's get it in. Let's give our Moorish American prayer. I'm going to give my benediction. I always like to teach some science, and then we're going to get with the teaching, because we're going to keep the time frame like I like it. I've been cutting it off exactly where it need to be. But our prophet warned all Muslims, governors ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform our members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, or in their homes or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. My 2 cents, health and wealth. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card button, cease wearing the turban and the fez, and return to the state where the prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore Moors, is sending out divine pleas to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By the order of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, our Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam. You got to get in a good place, man, for it to stop buffering on you. Yeah, no. I'm going to give our benediction. May the benediction of Allah be upon thy and all of us, as we all should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow the acts of love upon all our Moorish brothers and sisters and all fallen humanity. And we all should do our best to shun all evil ones. Remember, Moors, to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that we might nourish the souls of all men and women. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Knowest that thou need not pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, Moors, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands, And yes, Moors, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, may Buddha, may Jesus, which is Yahshua, may Confucius, whatever name you glorify his name, a prophet come in the voice of the people, if we understand this science. But may the Allah within guide you, protect you, preserve you, lengthen your age, and give you everlasting peace. Shalom alaikum, assalamu alaikum, peace be amongst you. Amen. It all goes to the good if the heart is right. Don't let nobody get you caught up. So, before we get with the teachings, I always like to ask the basics and the training wheels, because I always like to give a little science before we get into this teaching, so we can understand where we come from and where we need to get back to. So, I want to ask some questions about our science, about this Kemetic science, and about some of the lower wisdom that we should know. And if we don't know, we're going to know today, and then we're going to teach. So, beginning with our teachings that we should know historically, if we understand that Moorish American is our pedigree or is our nationality, but this Kemetic science, this African masonry, it's ours. You must understand this. There's no other way. If you don't understand this, no way you can call yourself some type or some form of an adept or an adept. No way possible if you don't understand this. If you don't understand this higher teaching, this 99 degrees, there's no way you can be an adept, Moors. There's none. I'm telling you, I'm right here. Noble, listen, Moors. We in the world of technology, right? So they're just like, okay, so just like say if you want to be part, okay, I say it like this. I'm trying to give it in the right perspective. Okay, say you want to be educated by a person that's been affiliated with the PhDs. Say it's a group of body called the PhDs, and they teach this science for the brothers. And it ain't no more PhDs temples around. All of them no good, but you know this brother certified, and you know this brother got degrees in the world. You don't need no temple in Atlanta if it's not right. Why? Because we on the internet and we use our network as our network. That's why I tell us it's the school, it's not the building. And once you understand laws, which I would teach, you would be like, man, y'all tripping. It ain't the building. We got a brother that's certified to teach what? More science and Islamism. Everything else is just law. This is what I try to explain when you don't get caught up and let somebody sell you some garbage. I break this adapt wisdom down all the time about no one has the power to nationalize you or denationalize you. I give you that from adept wisdom. That's why nobody can refute what I'm saying. Only people that refute what I'm saying is they're not Moors from the temple, and they're not doing things legal and lawfully. And everything they doing can be broke down by a elementary law student. Period. So that's what I encourage Moors to be students. Noble, look, I don't have time to go off the back. I got to stick with the teachings. No disrespect to you, Ellis Monte. You should want to become a student. That's the only answer I have for you. Because if you don't know that simplicity, you got to know law. I tell you, it's in the constitutions. I teach the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. I teach about the 3/5 and the 5/5 of the law. I teach about proclaiming, declaring, and having due process. I teach about annexing your B and your L to all your ID, to your birth certificate, to everything. Because you're not changing your name. You're correcting a mispronunciation or a misspelling. The next thing is to take it to the world courts. And we have 30,000 Negro, blacks, and color, or misnomer Latinos and Mexicans. And we take it to the world courts. That's the duality of the AA22 number. So the first thing I tell Moors is you must be true educated on the law and on nationality by a brother that's educated in law. And that's a Moor. Because see, me being a Moor don't have nothing to do with me telling you the law and defending the Constitution. This is what I'll be telling you. A lot of people that call themselves Moors, that don't mean all of a sudden they know law. That's why they don't defend it. That's why none of the stuff I'm telling you, you don't know about. When a person say, how do you claim your nationality? I say, you don't understand about proclaiming, declaring, to have due process. When somebody asks you something, if somebody throw Negro, black, and color on a questionnaire, what would you fill out? You don't understand law. If you know who you are, Because if you don't know who you are, somebody will tell you. But that's a whole nother level. That's why I said more should want to be students. If you have basic questions like that, if you have basic questions like that, you should want to be a part of these teachings. You should want to be a part of my teachings. You should want to donate and help me build this body, if it ain't no physical temple in Atlanta. And then as brothers come under the auspices, and you got 10 or 20 or 30 Moors that's under the auspices in Atlanta, we'll get a subordinate, burn the Bush Tabernacle Moorish Science Temple in Atlanta, and we'll have the teachings there. And I'll travel, and we'll come under the auspices, and we'll have divine ministers. It'll be structured. But if you having basic questions like that, my first thing to you, Noble, is you should want to be a student. You should want to be a student. That's fine. Noble, I don't disrespect. I don't listen. A person can learn from whoever they want to learn, and that's amazing. When I say, because we're all teaching if we teach science, but my whole thing is this. My teachings is holistic. I'm not here just to talk about a whole bunch of old stuff. I'm here to say, if this work and this, we can do this in the courtrooms, and we can do all this, and we can bring all these black laws dictionaries. If that's so great, then let's make it work. Let's stop talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Let's stop meeting all over a whole bunch of places and have talk about we meet and have lectures. Why don't Moors that have these big followers and thousands of followers and getting donations, why they don't have their own temple and teach? And teach the laws, teach the truth of the AA22 number, teach the truth about proclaiming, declaring, and have due process, teach the truth about our nationality and what the world courts and how we do that in the right way. Teach the truth what Obama said in 2010, that we have a right of a nationality and a right to proclaim it, and no one will be arbitrarily denied of a nationality. Teach the truth about the religious laws and how it protect us. Teach the truth of that. So I always give light. I'm never here to disrespect anybody, because everybody knows something, and that's what I tell people. But what do we know? Is that a part of building? That's like when I had to tell other brothers, they're like, "Oh, this person, I follow this person," and I said, "That's the thing. We follow, but are we under teachings? Because a lot of people follow. They follow, and I say, I'm not here just to talk. I'm not here just to talk. Like, I put my money where my mouth is. If I say I want to do something, I'm real. You could touch me. This third heaven of that wisdom, exhuming of the nation, I break that down. No, not no Christian black codes. No, that's why I say you must be. I said the religious laws protect us when we can do things. When we talk about a nation, we talk about an organization. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an organization. We organize. We under one name, one tribal name, under the laws. The religious laws protect us. There's certain things that we can do. Man, I encourage you to be a student. If Moors don't understand that, I encourage Moors to be students. If you don't understand about the laws and how they protect every other religion, how they protect the Amish and everything else, that's I don't understand if you don't understand how. No, but it's not about the donation, no, but I want to build. I mean, it's not about that. What I'm saying is, we must understand the laws and get all and break everything down that we thought we know. And then say, if we're gonna build something, how do we do it? But my cash app is $KG Bay. So when I tell people about the laws, and I break down the religious laws, where a person always like to diss things, and I say, okay, let's put your book against another person's book that done business in the community and do things and help people in the community. This is what we are. Most of our brothers and sisters work. And I tell people, if you don't understand about the religious laws and how to set yourself up in a particular fashion where you can work for your people and your people can work for you and things can get done in your community, what is it all about? When I explain to my brothers and sisters, why are we raising funds if we're not setting up our own bodies of work, our own schools? That's what I'm doing. I'm a real nonprofit organization. I'm never afraid to talk about what I do. I'm in the real world. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of when I went to academia and got the degrees and talked just like this at the universities and showed them that they was teaching pseudo-academia, and I graduated with honors. They didn't like my candor, but I graduated with honors. I went in the belly of the beast and taught the law, especially in the books, and now I'm doing it again in law. So That's what I tell brothers. I'm like, how can we say we can do something or we can't do, or this is white man this and this is white man and that, and don't understand business and don't understand nothing about the dynamics of law and tax laws if we never done business? And my question to Moors is, how you going to own stuff in your community? How you going to get all the houses and build it and have your temple or your school in a community and have people donating to that body of work? How you going to have organizations and schools and businesses that you know, and colleges and people that you know to have businesses where you can go solicit them and they ask you, are you a nonprofit? Yes, yes. What you doing for your people in the community? And they donate to you, monetary and tangible. Where you can do things in your community. Where you can buy the plight in your neighborhood and they donate to you for a small fee and you get the rest for donations. And they draw it up on their taxes. And then you have your religious community. I'm telling you, man, and this is what I said, next year, a lot of people are going to be looking in. And what's going to be happening is a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I'm following this person. And I'm going to be like, okay, I hear you, but what are you following? And it's no disrespect. Man, I ain't talking about us being in no Morocco, man. Man, hey, Noble, that's what I'm saying. I'm home. I'm a Moorish American. When we talk about Morocco, I'm talking about north, east, south, west. Man, Noble, no disrespect. But come on, man. I don't use any catchphrases here. We're home. I'm home. I'm an American. I'm a Moorish American. I'm a Moorish American with Moroccan or African descent. No, it ain't. It's learning all law and understanding your nationality. International law is learning history. It's steps. This is what I'm trying to explain to more. Like, it ain't just that. And that's what I'm saying. If we're not willing to learn systematically, man, there's nothing I can do. That's why I say everybody want a quick answer. And I'm like, that ain't what it's about, man. It's about us coming together, being educated on a particular fashion, and us moving as a unit, as a body. Because there's nothing you can do by yourself. And that's what I'm trying to explain. There's nothing you can do by yourself. That is not a nation. If you don't understand when you say, well, I'm talking about Morocco, I'm in America. That's what Islam apply pressure. Islam, those are baby questions. And when you say, am I talking about Morocco? I'm like, okay, so I'm talking about Morocco. So you say, okay, so you're talking about us being in Morocco. No, I'm talking about you at home. No, but you act, when a person say, okay, so you're talking about, when I say it's the way you frame questions, I'm gonna educate you. So we can't be upset. I'm talking about being home and the law's protecting us. If we can't build nothing and have nothing, all it is talk. When people use these catchphrases, oh, are we talking about Morocco? Man, I'm talking about where you at right now. I'm in America, I'm home. I know where Morocco is if we talk about that, but I'm here. I'm right here in America, wherever you at. Wherever state, city you at. Let's keep it real. We're Moorish Americans with Moroccan descent. This one nationality with many cultures. We're not stripping nobody's culture if we understand science and geographical landmass. That's why I say we must be educated on a particular fashion, not just everybody just talking. I say, because after the talk, I got to see what we have. And right now, I don't see nothing. And I done had temples, I done had buildings, me and my family. And now again, with our members and our students, we get ready to do it again. We ready to do it grand. Man, we already got 40 acres with my own finances. I show more. I don't need cars. We got 40 acres right now in St. John's, Arizona. Right now, go on my page, I'll show you. Who paid for it? Me and my family. I told y'all, when it's time to get coming, once we start building, it's a wrap. And I'm telling Morris, this summer when we come together, we're going to all get more acres. If it's 100 of us, we can get at least 80. I'm telling you, we can all come together. We can all come together. When I show y'all, that's what I'm building. I'm a Buddha. So we can have our land to go to, our ranch. We have our nice temple in the city, and we have our nice temple out here in Arizona. And we have our subordinate temples everywhere y'all are. If it's 10 or 20 Moors there.
Who are going to commit to support.
But you got to commit. Like I said, like my mom, you gotta commit. You gotta commit. You can't be just wasting your finances and playing around and be some grown man with 50 tennis shoes and buying a whole bunch of crap and wasting your money on a cable bill. I know a lot of Moors. I say, do you got cable? Yeah. They be like, man, I pay $200 for cable. I said, why? You like TV that damn much? So what I'm saying, 100 Moors giving $100, which is $5 a day for 20 days. That's it, and it's tax exempt. Our one-time fee for membership is $250. Everything is tax exempt. You get your fares and 7 books. And then once a year, we come to our meet and greet once a year. We do it in Vegas. We all give $1,000 once a year after we got our little change back from income taxes after they took damn near 20 grand from us. That's why we work with the laws and you let our money work with us when we use with the laws as a tax exempt organization. When I say we tax exempt religious, charitable, scientifically, educationally. That's what I'm telling you. And it's going to take certain Moors. And I'm telling y'all, next year it's going to be a lot of Moors. I'm going to have my bubble, which we call our world in our world. And everybody going to be on our bubble looking like the noble did it. And I say, look at all the churches. They doing the same thing. The laws protect them. Only problem is they got people in positions that just wasting the money. You know?
Thanks for the donation, Jesse.
So with me, when I'm telling y'all, man, watch what I do. Watch what I show y'all next year when we got 100 Moors donating. And then we got other Moors pledging. When I tell Moors, pledge what you can. Because the strong bear the infirmities of the weak. We have Moors pledging everything. And watch what we have. We have the temple, we have the schooling, we have the workout room, everything. Cash App, $ KG Bay. But I want Moors to be students. I don't like, this is what I tell Moors. I'm thankful for everything a Moor give. But if a Moor gives something this time and never gives something again until months down the line, I'm gonna still be grateful. But what we're trying to do is have consistency. So if you can be consistent, and that's what I tell Moors, I want us to be consistent and spread this message. Don't bury this in a grave. Like, let's be consistent. So I tell Moors, start the right way. We all can be members. How? $5 a day. $5 a day for 20 days. That's $100 a month. $5 a day for 20 days. You don't got to wait till the end of the month like, oh, I got to donate to my schooling and I got to come up with $100. No, you don't, because you can give $5 a day for 20 days and bada boom, bada bing. Once you become a member and a student, you can give $5 for 52 days. That's $250. Everything tax exempt. All the books you need, you're going to get from me. It's a donation because you're a part of this school. Everything you get from me is a donation. Just like if you was part of a church, when they have cooking, it's a donation. When they have shirts, it's a donation. I have a full library. You're going to get all books and things systematically. So, hey, Ma.
You say you ready? Yeah.
Can you get my phone out my room, out the bathroom, I think? All right, so let's get into this basics, man, because we're going to have a good time teaching today. And I'm telling y'all, man, once we get 100 Moors giving $100 a month, which is 120 tax-free dollars a month, which is nothing compared to what all these people be collecting, put in their pockets, and then people be talking about, I'm following them. I'm like, okay, what's happening? It's not in there? Oh, it's right here. Never mind. That's what I'll be telling Moors. I'm like, I call this love and hip hop Moors. Like all these Moors want to be celebrities. That ain't what this about. So what was the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali's mission? Because like I was demonstrating yesterday, when I was talking to the Moors, and I don't mean no disrespect, and I say, how can a Moor say they study in Moorish science and they don't have our Moorish Quran? There's no way you can be studying Moorish science and don't have a Moorish Quran, and a Quranic study guide, and a catechism studied in Quran, and the discovery questionnaires, and the and the SO Science books, all those books to go with the Quran. But what was the Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali's mission, y'all? Yes, but I like to get specific, and I like to get specific. He was to save as many Asiatics as possible during the period of grace. Okay, what do I see and how do I get this going, Noble? Everything go to Cash App, to my Cash App, $ KG Bay. But right now, Moors, we can't send nothing out in the mail. Everything is locked down. So you can send your donations in, and I send you a couple books I have. My books, The Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. My book, Sufism and the Triple Roles. And my House of Ali, I'll show those after I'm done. It's a lot of books that I gathered and compiled. That's gonna speed you up. And then once everything is done, I'm gonna send you all your 7 books and your fairs, and then we're gonna start picking back up the teachings. Cause I stopped when everything stopped. I got 10 new students, and so we're gonna pick it back up. Oh yeah, we hitting home. Let's go. So when did grace period start? When did grace period start? Thanks for the donation, Morris. When did grace period start? Y'all know it? Anybody know it? Let's see. We teaching. We only 30 minutes in. We gonna go for 2 hours and we done. Wherever we stop at, we'll pick up. We do this like General Hospital. You can grow up on this. I'm in no rush. Nope. Not 1913, Noble. I mean, not 1914. Damn, I gave you the answer. 1913. Oh well. 1913. When did it end? When did it end? When did it end? When did it end? 2001, Noble. 2001, Brother James. How did our prophet travel? Yes, keep studying. All you got to do is keep digging, and then I'll show you some other science. That's right, Noble, 2001. I know Alex, hey, Brother Vasquez L. You already know we here. Hey, man, a lot of y'all, man, put y'all faces on here, man. Cause when I don't see people faces on their page, man, I get suspect. I get the blocking people. So when everybody on here, they got blank faces, I hope everybody put their faces on here. And I hope you have your fezzes on or your turbans. How did our prophet travel? Brother James said by the compass and the square. Islam. So if you said that, James, Brother James, explain it. If our prophet traveled by the compass and the square, can you explain that, please? I'm a baby in this. Say if there's other babies out here. Explain it, Brother James. Can you explain it eloquently from our Moorish Quran? I mean, it's right there. Want me to tell you what chapter it's in? You ain't even got to break it all down, James. Just explain it to me what chapter it's in our Moorish Quran. No, you ain't got to figure it out. Tell me, because I've been giving it to you. That's what I'll be telling us, man. When our science is in our Quran, that's what I'll be telling us. We got to study our Quran, because I'm going to ask some basic questions. I told you I'm going to ask some basic questions. I told you. I know how a person is studying. How? By the questions that they ask, the questions that they don't ask, and by the basic questions that you should know. These are elementary questions that you should know. Because if I ask you how our prophet traveled, and you said by the compass in our square, you should know the answer. You should know. You should be able to break that science down. You should be able to break that science down. But when you say about the compass in the square, I said explain it. So yeah, you said it right. You gave the Moorish Quran scripture. That's right. We got to understand that. They took everything for internal and made it outward. That's why they're sons of Muslims. How did our holy prophet once travel? How did our holy prophet once travel? Now you got to remember, this is our science. The Europeans stole your science. When I show you pictures of King Medikaru with the left foot forward and his hand in his jacket, all that, and when you look at European masonry and Negro masonry, all the workman tools is on the outside, and why they have to dress in black, it's a whole deep symbology. And who Harama Beef, and then the Daughters of American Revolution, who the Eastern Star is. So, how did our holy prophet once travel, Moors? Do y'all know? Yep. So how did our prophet once travel? 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 Now we talking about the science, man. I'm breaking down this science when I tell y'all it's the science. I don't get caught up in characters. Like Amor, I deleted Amor. He wrote me almost a long dissertation about I apologize, Moore. My elder whipped my ass when he was talking about some clock of destiny is no good. I said, man, you got to be crazy. I said, I know you're not a scientist because the science is science. You can't refute the science. I don't give a damn if you don't like the man, but it's the science. What you said, compass to make a circle around our desires. No, that ain't what I said. Listen what I said. I said, how did our prophet once travel? I said, there are compasses square. And then I explained it when we talk about use the compass to keep all his common desires under control, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm asking, how did our prophet once travel again? It's another teaching how our prophet once traveled again. What am I talking about? Can we break that down? Come on, man, y'all should know this. What I'm telling you, we don't let nobody take our science. It's our science. Abdul Hamid Solomon told you it's our science. Deuce Hamid Solomon told you it's our science. Angelo Solomon, the first Moorish Mason, told you it's our science. Are you not understanding what I'm saying? How did our prophet once travel? We already said the one part, but now we got to get deeper. Do we know? Well, we need to be reading. This is what we do. This is what we do, man. That's why I'm saying this is what we do. We do this every day. That's why we're going to have the temple. No, that vaguely noble, but not based on the teachings. But you're right when you're breaking it down in your own words. But from the teachings through the Masonic order until he became a noble. Then he entered Islam. And a lot of Moors that don't think, they don't understand the adept wisdom and the higher science. I think they missing a lot when a lot of people talk about their adepts. And I'm like, you can be if you don't understand this science, this Kemetic wisdom through the Masonic order until he became a noble. And then he entered Islam. What do you think the Quran acronym is? Knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. Who represented Islam in the West? Who represented Islam in the West? Who represented Islam in the West, Moors? Who represented Islam in the West? Who represented Islam in the West, Moors? Since when? We already win it. Since when? Since what year? Since when? Because we already talked about that earlier. Since when? Since when? Since when? Since what year? Since what time period? Come on, Morris, walk with me. No. Remember, 1913 was when the grace period started. Nope. 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 Come on. We got a couple more people to come on, take one more crack at it. Nope. Nope. And I want us to just study and research it. Come on, we close. Nope. Nope. Come on. Walk with me. And I'm just challenging you to study. That's all. Can anybody take one more crack at it? Since being given the keys from the Egyptian adept. But I asked for what year? I asked for a time period. I didn't ask in a generality. I need a time period. Because it's based on our teachings, it's in our teachings. This is what an adept should be able to break down eloquently and touch and walk you through it. No, we close. 1912. 1912. Did our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, enter the shrine? Yes, he did enter Islam that way. Now, this what I be catching. This how I be catching the Moors that be joining that European masonry and all that. Does this mean Moorish Americans should seek to become Masons and Shriners? Yes or no? Oh, let me get my tea. Hold on. Yo, yo, yo. I thought the parent of Freemasonry was Moorish science. I mean, if you more, that's why I said when you become a student, you will understand. Listen to what I'm saying. Man, you got to listen. What I'm saying is no reason to join. I thought the parent of Freemasonry was Moorish science. That's why I be saying before we speak more, I want us to be students. Please, more. I'm not dissing the science. I told you, I've been removed the veil of secret societies. Just like our prophet did, and I showed you it's our science. Did you just hear what I said about the mystery of Haram Abif and the Daughters of American Revolution and who were the feds and clandestine and why they not 99 degrees? And when I talk about 32 and 33 degrees of just snowman wisdom, that's why I say this is ancient science. That's when I was talking about King Menakaru. What you think I'm talking about? When I say our tassel is not pinned down, and it flows freely, our fez is not defiled, I'm telling you this is our science. That's why I tell Moors, please listen. And it's no disrespect. You know, I broke this science down a long time, and we're going to continue to break it down over and over and over. That's why we must be initiated. That's why I'm saying, man, it's a deeper science than what Moors think. We don't have to think nothing. We know it. So, does this mean Moorish Americans should seek to become Masons and Shriners? Yes or no? And watch how I break the science down when I say we Moorish Americans. So if you Moorish Americans, then that means something. I'm telling you, watch. Does this mean Moorish Americans should seek to become Masons and Shriners? Yes or no? Yes or no, Moors? And when I'm gonna correct your question because you're right. I'm gonna say yes and no. When you said I thought the parent of Freemasonry was Moorish science, man. If you've been following my teachings, man, I show you what this science is. It's African Masonry and it's Hika. It's not no European Masonry. There's not no European Masonry. This is why I'm telling you. The copied you. So, my question to you again, Noble, I'm about to break this science down. Does this mean that Moorish Americans should seek to become Masons and Shriners? That's how I say I know a fraud when I smell them out, when they be under that European or that Negro and that black masonry. Because then I start breaking law and words down, and I say, what's ancient about a black Mason? Nothing. I showed you the ancient rite where the Europeans, they're only 32 and 33 degrees. Didn't I show you that? And they came in the 1920s. And then I show you the ancient rite of nobles come from us, the Moors, the mystics in the 1800s. I'll show you that science. I'll show you the copied you. I'll show you the Italians came to Egypt. That's why they're only 32 and 33 degrees. So, does this mean Moorish Americans to seek to become Masons and Shriners? The answer is no. Why, you may ask? Because there is no longer any need. Remember, I said there is no longer any need for this because our prophet gave us 32 and 33 degrees in our divine instruction number 2. In science, 32 and so-called 33 degrees is nothing but snowman wisdom. That's when water freezes. That's just 360 degrees of material wisdom. That's nothing. I'll get you to 720. And then we could take it to the 14, the higher, the double, right? The 1440, we go to the third heaven. But our prophet gave us the 32 and 33 degrees in our divine structure number 2. Noble, man. Look, man, if you know something, Islam isn't the, what do you think? What do you think? What do you, Noble, what do you think? That's what I'm saying, man. That's why I say a lot of times, man, let me get my tea, man, please. That's why I challenge the Moors to be students. And no disrespect, Noble, but like you all over the place, man. And like I said, I want to synchronize this teaching, man. You're talking about signs and symbols. Once you understand the signs and symbols of the primordial man, you will know. So it's a lot of things, man, that's like when I talk about prereqs. And a lot of people follow things and they ask questions. And I say, okay, well, if we know that, then let it manifest. Because if not, it really don't mean nothing. This is what I be saying. But we got all the science when he placed the tabra and the mantra, which is the turban, on our kopta, which is our crown, and gave the science to us. This is what I'm saying, like it's the teachings. And I say a lot of us is caught up with catchphrases and a lot of symbols that we really don't understand. And just because we understand the outer symbol, I don't think we understand the synchronicity of what it means. Because just because a person can make an outward image, it don't mean nothing. Just like a bunch of rituals. It don't mean nothing if the vessel ain't right. I keep telling people, man, if a person that's faking it, and I'm not saying nobody here faking, but if a person act like they know and really don't know, and then when their brother can teach them and they're not willing to know, a person should step over that. And that's what I be trying to explain to us, man. It's like this is not no fashion, and this is not no pissing contest with brothers. Like who know this, who don't that. That ain't what I'm about. Because all I ask a person is when I talk, I say, look, let's see where you're gonna be at next year. And see what's gonna happen and see where we're gonna be at and see what the movement. Let's put a clean glass next to a dirty glass. I don't have to say nothing. Because when it comes to the scholarship, there's nothing to debate about, no science. Especially if we're more just talking. You know, and they don't have a library. We can prove all things. Who amongst the highest of Rome enter Islam by practice? This is what I say is ain't no reason. Remember, because once a Mason, once they become the shrine, they start practicing the Al-Islam. So who amongst the highest of Rome enter Al-Islam by practice? Huh? Huh, Moors? Talk to me. Who amongst the highest of Rome enter Al-Islam by practice? Do we know? Come on. And we'll destroy all this snowman science right here. I don't give a damn if it's Negro, black, whatever color. That ain't no science. I'm telling you. And I know European potentates, that's professors. And when I come in, they bow down sons of Muslims, and ain't no disrespect. It's just a degree of wisdom and a science. European Masons and Negro black Masons. They ain't just no European Masons, more. This is what I be want to tell us. European Masons and Negro Masons. Don't just say European Masons. We gotta stop just saying European Masons. That's what I'm trying to get us to thinking again. Like, wait a minute, it ain't just no European Masons, because we ain't talking about the Albion Mason. We're talking about the Negro blacks and color that think they're Masons and they're not understanding the Moorish science, and they act around like they some black Mason and it ain't nothing ancient about you. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying all Masons. And so when we remove the veil or talk about some European Mason, I say forget the European Mason. What about the Negro, the black Mason? What about the Mason that wear? What about your uncle, your brother that wear the fez in clandestine? Ask your uncle, or your great granddad, whoever that wear the fez in clandestine. And then, if they real, I'll start showing you the ancient science where the Moorish science, where the masonry come from. And masonry is ancient because it's ours first. And I can show you the old African masonry. And I can show you all pictures of our brothers that had the fez way before a European stole the science. No disrespect. And any brother, no matter what color they are, if they true to who they are, they're going to agree to what I'm saying. Guaranteed. I guarantee you. And they bow down to the science if I deliver it in a particular fashion. Guarantee you. Because they're sons of Muslims. I guarantee you. That's why when I tell Moors, when I say in the Moorish science, a sheik, and a sheik is an adept. But it's adepts that's not sheiks because they're not Moorish nationality per se. It's the wisdom. And that's why I say, man, I know a lot of people be perpetrating. But at what degree among the highest of Rome enter Islam? At what degree? At what degree in Rome? When I be telling Negro, blacks, and colored, when I say, yo, you under some European charter. When they talk about we under some black masonry. No, you not. You under some European charter. Your potentate is a European. No disrespect. At what degree? At what degree did they come? At what degree did they become Masons? At what degree, y'all? Watch this. At what degree? At what degree? Nope. 32. Only 32. See, when you get to the real science, man, 33, man, is just, I'll talk about that later, man. I'll tell you, that's why I say this is 99 degrees. This 33 times 3, this ancient Memphis and Mizraim. This higher science where I'm coming from. What is the secret password? When I'm telling you, if they sons of Muslims, they know this science. They studied the science. What is their secret? What is the secret password, Morris? That's right. Assalamu alaikum. That's right. What occurs then? What occurs then? When I'm telling y'all, when people steal, what occurs then? No, that ain't nothing but a catchphrase. Are you riding or walking? That's a European catchphrase. That don't mean nothing. That's like when they say, are you a traveler? Watch this. Watch this. Are you a traveler to the east? Or are you a traveler? Most Negroes that don't know no science, and I test them, and they be like, oh, I'm a traveler to the east. And it's garbage, I got to walk away. Because I say, we're not under man's directions. If you understand your teachings and you read your Moorish Quran and your teachings, only person that's under man's direction is the person that's lost. So we're not under man's directions. Because the closest place to find Allah is in the heart. So you don't have to turn no specific way. If your heart is right, I don't give a damn where you are. Because the closest place to find Allah is in the heart. So when somebody tells you to stay in the east, and we talk about you a traveler to the east, I'm not lost. So what occurs then? What occurs after the secret password? Assalamu alaikum. If you righteous and you a noble. I just explained to y'all eloquently what happens. What occurs then? What occurs then? From a true adapt, a true amor that's operating in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. What happens then? What occurs next? What occurs next? I guarantee you it happens everywhere if you rocking right. What happens next? Do y'all know? They begin to, that's right, apply pressure. That's why I know, that's right, apply all day. I'm telling you, they begin to practice what? What the ritual do, a Mason bows on his knees to Islam and proclaims that Allah is God, becoming a practicing Muslim. But I tell y'all, Moorish science is not al-Islam because we don't study nothing outside ourselves. Remember that. We don't study nothing outside ourselves. This is Islamism. If you believe in something outside yourself, that's true shirk. So I hope y'all follow what I'm saying. That's why this is a higher science. They can't connect. They're missing the aspect of connecting yourself to the higher being. It's nothing outside of ourselves. Why are Shriners considered the joke of masonry? Why are Shriners considered the joke of masonry? Do y'all know? I'm gonna educate you on something. Why are Shriners considered the joke of masonry? Do you know? Because they left Christianity, their teachings of their foremothers and forefathers, to practice a religion other than that of their forefathers' religion, while still living in a Christian country per se. What exactly is the Al-Islam religion that the Masons proclaim and practice? What exactly is the Al-Islam religion that Masons proclaim and practice? That's why I told Moorish, get that white and black stuff out of your head. When I tell you a lot of our brothers that's joined masonry groups and they still in masonry and then try to act like they Moors on a IG page, they lying to you too. Because the first thing you learn in Moorish science is the last thing that a Mason knows. Point blank, they don't know any science, I guarantee you. The names and the issues and the principles of Arabian mixed with a select version of the face of the Qurayshite or the Moor Muhammad. Is this Arabian Al-Islam our religion? Is this Arabian Al-Islam our religion? Yes or no? Yes or no, Moors? You should know this. You shouldn't even be confused when you got them Moors with them religious Moors coming with that garbage. I'm like, man, that ain't Moorish science. Is this Arabian Al-Islam our religion? Come on, there's more of y'all on here. So if we know that, what is our religion? What is our religion? Our religion is Islamism. Our religion is Islamism. What is Islamism? The religion of our forefathers. I can break it down how it's different from Al-Islam. It's simple. Islamism is the universal law in harmony with the self, resulting in peace. When I tell y'all in more science, we talk about Islam, that's peace. It ain't no submission. What we submitting to? We don't submit to no God out of ourselves. This ain't no European masonry. This is more science. These 99 degrees. The science and study of self-mastery, that Allah and man are one. Al-Islam being the Arabic for peace, which was perfected by Muhammad into the Quraysh and the Arabic, and has since, unlike Islamism, that our Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought us Moorish Americans, have been viewed, I like the word, like catechism, in the premise to serve a God that exists outside of self. Can a Moorish American be a Mason also? See, we got to correct these Negroes. Can a Moorish American be a Mason also? See, we're going to ruffle some feathers now. Can a Moorish American be a Mason also? Because you can't serve no outside God, not be no more. If that's the case, you under some European Christianity, under some Al-Islam, and you talk about you got some potentate, and you follow some European masonry. This how I know, brothers, that's still Masons. No, not a true and faithful Moorish American. Can I expound further on the science of the Shriner being labeled as a joke of masonry? You got to look at the history of the Moorish dance when you understand what the Moorish dance is. And it's a dance borrowed from the Moors, or their imitation of the dance. So it's some things that we need to be clear on. So, what form of Islam do Moorish Americans adhere to? What form of Islam do Moorish Americans adhere to? I hope y'all listening. Don't answer real fast. Think about it. What form of Islam do Moorish Americans adhere to? Nova, you got You should understand that. If you study and I teach, come on, you be a noble, come on. It's a lot of things. If you understand that, if you understood writings, and if who wrote and who didn't, and when the pen was changed, if you're studying the science, that's an elementary question. But Sufi, what is the Sufi teachings? 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 Right, that man and Allah are one. If that's what we say, if we say man and Allah is one, how can we prove it? How do we prove this? How do we prove that man and Allah is one? How do we prove it? By what? How do we prove that Allah and man are one? How do we prove it? How do we prove that Allah and man is one? There you go. That's Elijah Shabazz. He just answered the question for you. Let me read it. He said, even the Prophet Muhammad, he said, even the Prophet Muhammad of Arabia said that the third generation after him, Islam would not be as he taught it. We got to understand this. If we understand that a prophet comes in the flesh and it'll be a Messiah in every dispensation, we got to listen to the teachings. Islam is older. It never was a time when man was not. But how is this proven? If what is Sufism teaching is Islamism, that man is and Allah are one, how is this proven? How is this proven? How is this proven, y'all? How is this proven that Allah and man are one? Cash App, $KGB. I'm gonna show y'all all of them when I'm done. All donation. If you want all, right now I think I got like 7, 8 of my books, a $40 donation. You'll get them all. I'll PDF them all to you. No, noble, esoteric. No, esoteric mean what? Listen. If Islam, if our teaching is Sufism and Islamism, that man and God are one, how is this proven? Think about it. If you don't know, say how. How is this proven? What basis and what science are we basing this on? What science are we basing this on that Allah and man are one? What are we basing it on? Come on, man. This is elementary, man. What are we basing it on? We basing it on our holy Quran, Moors. Our Moorish Quran, that's what we basing it on. How are we know that Allah and man are one? What are we basing it on? We base it on our teachings. Come on, man. What surah and verse? We got to know this stuff. This is the element when the more talk about, am I going to teach about the Quran? I'm teaching about the Quran in your fairs. I'm teaching about the 32 and 33 degrees. If it's proven by our Quran, what surah and what verse? Do y'all know? What surah and what verse? What surah and what verse? What surah and what verse? Based on our teachings. This elementary. What surah and what verse? If we're going to prove it by our Quran, what surah and what verse? Do we know it? We got to. I done gave it plenty of times. Write it down, because I'm gonna test you. I'm gonna test Moors again. That's why I be saying, I'm like, Moors be wanting to go farther and further. No, Alex. Anybody else want to take a crack at it? Anybody else want to take a crack at it? I done did this plenty of times. Anybody want to take a crack at it? No, I said, what surah? No, I ain't say no. I said, what surah? You got to give me the specific surah. Give me the surah and the verse. Do we know it? I'm gonna give you the Surah and the verse. I'm gonna give you the Surah and the verse so you can read it for yourself, and you can get clarity. I want you to read it for yourself. I want you to get clarity. That's why I said you got to have things to study for yourself, for you can read it, for you can know it. Noble, man, that don't even make sense, man, what you just said, man. Just acting out of 360 to 720 degrees, how do you know where you at? Because learning is just measured and built upon. Man, that don't even make sense what you just said, Moore. And see, that's what I'll be saying. More is need to study. If you understand that everything is measured by the compass and the square, that question that you just said really don't make sense, More. That's rhetoric. That's rhetoric, More. I said 360 degrees is material wisdom. Material wisdom is understand who you are. 720 degrees understand material and spiritual wisdom when you mastering your higher self. So what's the question that you asking? I'm talking about relaying your body to the atmosphere. The question you just said, I don't understand what you're saying. If you understand about your compass and your square, that's what I'm. Man, it's way deeper than what we think, man. It's way deeper than what we think. And that's where I say the question you have asked, when I say I think we just be asking questions, and it's no disrespect. But listen to this question you asked. Just asking out of 360 to 720 degrees, how do you know where you at? What do you mean, how do you know where you at? What do you mean, based off what? When you mean, how do you know where you at? I know where I'm at. So how do you know where you at? Because learning is measured and built upon. Built upon what? Built upon what? Learning is and measure is built upon what? You didn't finish it. Built upon what? The compass and the square. So what are you talking about? That's why I asked more, stay in the context. You must stay in the context. And the question you just asked is totally out of context, More. Totally out of context. And that question is not relating to what we're talking about, More. I mean, and that's what we got to do, man. And like I said, we're supposed to be here as learners and soaking it up. And like that question is not valid, More. It's not valid at all. And you know that. And I hope, and it's no, I'm coming from love. I'm coming from love. That question is totally out of context. And if you think it's in context, please explain it. It's in Surah 2, verse 31 and 34. Surah 2, verse 31 and 34. Who built the holy city of Mecca? Who built the holy city of Mecca? Who built the holy city of Mecca? That's right. You got to focus. That's right. That's what I'll be telling more. We answer stuff from a lower thing just to be in debates, but I'm not here for no pissing contest. I'm not here to do that. I say this is a particular science and this scholarship that I come from, and all you have to do is research the scholarship. It has nothing to do with this and that. Truth has no size. So we must, when I talk about degrees in science, I ask more to stay in the context, because we'll take things out of context and ask a whole bunch of questions that have nothing to do with the topic at hand. Come on, man. That's right. Thank you. And I mean, it's simple. That's why I said more. I encourage everybody that's come on my page to become students. Hit me up in my email, goodmancurry@gmail.com. I'll show you what it takes to be a student and a member, because next year we're going to have a temple and I'm going to be off YouTube. And this what I'll be trying to tell more is like we should be willing to learn. We should be willing to fall in systematically. But on the ancient land of the Moorish, the Moabites, and the Canaanites, the same as the Phoenicians and the Phoenicium, all that's the stuff when I do linguistics. On what landmass is the holy city of Mecca? That's on North America, the 42nd parallel. And Mecca is where our prophet is. How we know this to be true? From our Moorish Quran. And when I just said, where's the holy city of Mecca? Do we have evidence of these teachings? We consider who and by what names throughout the Moorish astrological account who the ancient Canaanites were. What are some of those names? It was Phoenicium, Poenicium. What does Phoenicium mean? It means Carthaginian. It means Phoenician. What period was this? Between 800 and 146 BC. Where? The ancient Moorish kingdom of Carthage. The modern name of this kingdom is Tunis. When I started connecting maps and ancient maps, and I started showing more, like, man, it's a way higher science. It's not just getting on no Google University. This is a science. I have a whole library. I have over 15,000 manuscripts. I've been through the fire. What documented evidence can I offer to show that the Carthaginian and the Canaanite, or the America-Mecca connection, by our deed and the deed of the ancient Canaanite? The Carthaginian Siphi Hanno Bey, the third generation of Empress Alicia Bey, daughter of King Mutan I and great-grandfather of Gualan, Morisani, General Hannibal or Hannah Bey. And Bey is an ancient document by express, the proclamation inscribed on the Born Stone, found at Cape Cod Bay. You know? New England, Massachusetts. What does the deed proclamation describe in terms of metes and bounds? It describes the possessions and annexations of the Americas to the Iberian Peninsula. We can talk about Carthage, which is Tunis, and Marrakesh, which is Numbida, Utica, beginning those same possessions of Northeast, Southwest Africa, including North, Central, and South America, Mexico, and the Atlantic Islands, if you understand geographical landmass. Where is it documented? It's certified tangible evidence. It's legal document, and it's the title of the American lands and the Moorish Americans, an American Society of Comprehension Science, in the National Litigation, Document of State, Bureau of Administration, Library of Congress. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that you can look up if you know how to research. I haven't even broke out the book of Bellimont. A lot of Moors don't even know what I'm talking about when I say the book of Bellimont. Balllymote, or Bellymote. I'll break that out later. Or the ancient Ogham writings. And these are books that was around 800 years ago from a collection of malicious manuscripts or old scripts. And the last manuscripts included the codex called the Ogham Tract that deals with 70 varieties of ancient Moorish, Moabite, and Canaanite, or it's called the Iberian script. And you can find this book, this 502 folio volume in leaf skin. The page book of Bellimont is housed in the library of the Irish Academy in Dublin, Ireland. I'm telling you. You can research a European writer who stumbled upon these ancient, writings of America, a Harvard professor and an epigrapher named Barry Fell. And where did he find the explanation about the ancient Moorish, the Canaanite, Phoenician, Iberian documents of America? That's right. In Dublin, Ireland, in the Book of Leinster, housed in the library of the University of Dublin, compiled by a bishop of Kildare named Finn MacGorman. I had all these books in my library. When I did my dissertation, man, it blew their mind. I got a standing ovation. I tell you this all the time. They know this science. I told y'all when I talk about the Royal Libraries and the National Archives, I'm telling you, that's why when I go in places, I bring my own chair and table. I'm a real scholar. I teach on college campuses when I do lectures, all professors. So I don't even want to get all deep into that, but that's why I encourage brothers and sisters to become students, man, and learn from an educated standpoint. But watch, I said, next year when we have our temple out here, it's going to be over. I'll give you all a little bit of just a little science. We'll talk about the so-called Native American Moor. We'll talk about the Native American Moor. I encourage Moors all to be students because I said next year, man, we're going to have our temple. It's going to be crazy. Oh, yeah, American BC by Barry Fell. Yeah, it talks about how before the Pangea and all that stuff. Yeah, yep. And I can tell Moors, I have a full library. When you get stuff from me, it's a donation to our organization. You get a tax exempt receipt. We're a real movement. But Native American or the Moor, we're going to talk about that. And we might have time to talk about the real Indian is the Blackamoor, or the real Indian is the Negro, aka the Blackamoor. But the Native American Moor, the true ontological history of us. When we talk about how we allow people to act as the designated authorities to define who we are, I think we're lost. Oh, matter of fact, my empress was like, share them books with them. All right, man, I'm gonna name some books. I'm gonna share some books with y'all, man. And this is what a lot of people hide from y'all. And then I'm gonna tell y'all all these books is old. What email do I write to become a student? My email is Goodman, Goodman, Curry @gmail.com, and I'll send you our syllabus and our enrollment package, because there's some things that you must obligate to become a member and a student. We have a one-time 250 fee where you get your 7 books and your fares, and then our $100 a month membership and student dues. $5 a month for 5 days fulfills the $100. If you don't have the $250 off top, just donate $5 a day for 50 days, and bam. And we rock and roll, or do it however you please. But it's a lot of books that I'm gonna break down that's in my library that I'm gonna share with a lot of Moors. But it's a lot of books. When I talk about, I'm just gonna give y'all some titles. No, I ain't gonna give y'all. We'll talk about that later. Cause I got a lot of ancient books. And you'd be like, man, all those books about the Moors, like, yep. Like what? Like, huh? Like, yep. Like, why you got all them? I'm like, because nobody not gonna share it with you, you know? But I'll share that later. Man. But I got a lot of, when I say a lot of books, and to show you in history, man, to where it'll just blow your mind. But as we get with this teaching, man, what we're going to talk about is we have only permitted other people to stand as our sanctioned higher authority to proclaim what our ancestry is. And we've let other people write our history. We support and even defend their right to place upon us what their titles are. When people place titles on you like Indian, Negro, colored, Latino, Hispanic, Black, African American, all those misnomers. I got to see if my one of my books, I got to see my one of my nobles that sent me. But this important behavior, we got to change it, man. We got to change it. Like the history of the Moorish Empire in Europe, the Book of Enoch, the origin of Freemasonry and the Knights Templars. Man, there's so much I can give y'all. The history of the reign of Ferdinand and Isabella, history of the Moorish Empire in Europe, the Chaldean account of Genesis, chronicles of the quest of Granada. Man, I can give you so much, man. History of the Moorish Empire in Europe, I gave you that. The Rosicrucian mysteries, the Alhambra, Arabic Spain. Man, I can go on and on. But we do now continually, what we got to do is correct these misteachings. We got to correct these misinstitutions. Right? The truth hath always been deferred. We got to focus on being on enforcing the inalienable and unalienable God giving human rights, as it is protected under all international law, as outlined within the U.S. ratified charter guaranteeing globally the rights of indigenous people. When I talk about the rights of indigenous people, which in fact is constitutionally the indisputable law of the land. I hope y'all know what I'm saying. This deeply entrenched, institutionalized rewriting of history was the most simple take for granted as truth, such as we call a Pulitzer Prize in 1833, Teacher Guide, The Discovery of America, and Outgrowth of the Conquest of the Moors. Research that. That was the prize-winning Teacher's Guide, The Discovery of America, and the Outgrowth of the Conquest of the Moors, introducing the myth of Christopher Columbus discovering America. It's a clear example of a corrosive global cosmological framework of mentality manipulative, Eurocentric belief system designed to foster manufacture false pride while secretly anchoring, duplicating cornerstones of what the average individual should accept as simple common sense. Facts, which everyone should know. Anyone of sound mind, that is. It would not at all be odd to find a question, who discovered America, Moors, as being a question on a mental level, on any test, in which anybody would say Christopher Columbus. But that would be counted as a sign of mental instability. You got to follow the logic. A sign of a healthy mind would be to believe the fiction's caricature, Columbus also discovered Indians, so per se. That's why when I say public schools don't teach the truth, and it's not their job, it's for us, scholars that been through the fire. When they talk about some called Indians, the term Indian only applies to people of India, not the indigenous and or the aboriginal natives of America continent. And this is a fact. And this fact should in turn most certainly be immediately followed by a full, truthful explanation of who we, indigenous to this land, the native of this land, the aboriginal American, the Moorish Americans. What is the fear stopping these truths from being told? That's why the true knowledge of self not only and positively fortifies meaningful, self-empowering, self-sustainability through new realizations of inalienable entitlements, encompassing a vast spectrum of inviolable and and these realities, these things that's real, of near unfathomable proportion. It ignites all possibilities. This is why such slogans, when they talk about I'm black and I'm proud, and it's black pride, and Black Lives Matter, that's fecalist. The reason for this is metaphysically, psychological, and of course legal, and have been well understood since the time of Henry Campbell Black, Sigmund Freud, and his lesser known yet far more influential nephew, Edward Barnos. Understood the possible of that certain family, that blood tie, that Bush blood tie. A study of Henry Campbell's black works. Y'all know? A study of Henry Campbell's black works. Unquestionably, the world's most widely respected legal dictionary will aid one in arriving at a clear understanding of not only the legal reason why identifying oneself as a black person in fact legally places yourself into a social category, an actual legal classification and status known as what? What status do that put you in, Moors? Y'all know this. Y'all like to talk about it. What status do that put you in? Well, let me get some more water. We got 30 minutes. What status did that put you in, y'all? Yeah. What status that put y'all in, Moors? What status? Okay. Let me go back. All righty. I said all Moors like to study the so-called Black Laws Dictionary, but I say it's just a dictionary. And reading a dictionary does not mean you know how to defend yourself in a court of law. Just like reading a medical dictionary, that don't mean you're gonna let somebody perform a heart surgery on you. So we talk about the legal dictionary and understanding of, and not only the legal reason why identifying oneself as a black person, in fact, legally places yourself in a social category and actual legal classification. And it's known as what? What's the classification you putting yourself in? Known as what? Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. But what's the phrase everybody like to use? No, that ain't the question what I asked. I know that. That ain't the question. That's right. That's right. Silver mortis, which legally and lawfully and literally means dead in the eyes of the law. Slave. That's why when I talk about the Dred Scott law, the Dred Scott law was mean you're going to be a chattel for life. Oh, you want to be in a different category? We put you in a category as person, place, and thing. Now I put you in a category as ownership. You're going to be a slave for life. That's what your black bleepity blip was going to be pertaining to the laws. That's why I quiver when I see people talk about they black and they proud. I'm like, that's not your nationality. But anyway, another startling fact, which may seem even more bizarre to the average individual, is the legal definition of white person. Legal definition of white person. When we talk about history in Black Law's Dictionary, the 4th edition, it's on page 1769. Not European, nor of Indo-European ancestry. It goes on further to identify the term white person, not only as being us, the indigenous and aboriginal Native American Moor, who currently is in this country and most commonly referred to as black and or African American. Close inspection of the world's most reliable legal dictionary provides a newfound appreciation of how the term white person is in fact merely an absurd status. I'm telling y'all, man, that's why I know Moors don't read when I say, when I ask Moors what black and white mean, and then Moors, we talk about it means something different. I say, no, it don't. No, it don't. Now, when it coming down to when they trying to say individual status, when they using that, the identifier manifested as a result of the Naturalization Act of 1790. The Naturalization Act of 1790. That's right, Brother Vasquez, same thing. Study world-renowned legal references, such as the aforementioned Black Law's Dictionary. Also, you need to get a Bavarian's Law Dictionary, and other well-respected scholarly works will help one easily discover the true irony in the well-known adage. That's why I tell Moors, if you want to hide something from a Negro, black, and colored, misnomer, Latino, Mexican, put the science in the book. And then once a Moor gets something, they'll hold on to it, but they won't read the science. The truth is such idioms became even more apparent when we come to understand such realities as the fact that the term minority has nothing to do with numbers, but in legal terms refers to us as a people not being responsible enough to handle our affairs beyond that of a minor or a child. Just like when you research the doctrine of discovery. That's one reason why the national nightly news back in the day recently proclaimed during that time, according to the most recent national census population. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. According to the most recent national census population, because what Negroes didn't do, it was Moors back then. They didn't proclaim, declare, and have the due process. If you're going to verbally say it, say who you are on paper. If you're going to navigate, but anyway, minorities are now America's new majority. If we were the number of quantity of individuals they were referring to, opposed to the quality and status, compromising our social construct, it would not have been such an oxymoron or transparent truth defying report. Are y'all following what I'm saying? That's why you got to study the words. When I say I'm in linguistics, and you can get caught up in linguistic apartheid, and you can get caught up in double talk. I know this. This is a craft. Their common denotative utilities, as well as etymological origins, which often reveal their true and less well-known connotative legal definitions, have always struck for me. I was fascinated with language. I was fascinated with wordplay. when I talk about etymologically, interesting enough, stemming from the Latin term mare or mar, M-A-R, hey Empress,
Hello.
and a Gothic romanization. Nope, I promise you it don't more. See, look, naturalize means of a foreign, admit to the citizenship of a country, and naturalize U.S. citizen born. But it's more science to that too. That's why I say, man, in law, when a person grabs something and they think they know something, and then I tell a person to calm down because we get something handed to us when we totally run off with it. Remember I told y'all nationalize or nationalization come from a whole different other area that you don't know. And if you don't know the law and you defend that in the wrong manifestation, you will be your bleepity bleep will be handed to you.
What's the bleepity bleep?
I ain't gonna cuss. When I talk about I resurrect a lot of teachings. So you right in that manifestation. But when we talk about nationalize or nationalization, the word nationalize and nationalization here in America, a brief clarification on how these words were developed is this. These words were programmed on our minds in 1942 by an official, a major in the national headquarters, the Selective Services System. I can go on with the teacher, but that's later. So I hope we understand. The Proto-Italic expression, Mari, from the Proto-Indo-European Mori, M-O-R-I, a legitimate exploration of the valid linguistic comparison can be found within the Romanian term Mari or Mari, meaning great and or mighty. A great and or mighty people, with the term cane having a long-standing etymological association with that which is standing upright and or straight, walking cane and or a stock of a sugar cane. And naturally Moors references that which is upright like man biblically, anthropomorphically, came from which derived from geographically Canaan land, regions or Canada, land of Canaanites. And linguistics have also shown how American, A-American, A-M-A-R-E-C-A-N is also an extremely reasonable etymological phase. A great and or mighty man, American, right? Today, the term Indian is officially used as a term of what? Determination and designation by the U.S. federal government without there even being any clear conscience or definite definition for the term when referencing the clarification of a tribal eligibility. But for the sake of communication purposes, is used here as the most widely accepted what? Misnomer. The term native from the Middle English word natif, N-A-T-I-F, phonetic, natif. When we say things phonetically, N-A-Y-T-E-E-F, meaning belonging to a particular place by birth or your appellation. It's a misconception that the term Native American referred to exclusively the so-called American Indians, just as it is true that anyone born in Washington, D.C. is by all rights a native Washingtonian. The truth is anyone born in America or the Americas is a Native American, but not Aboriginal or indigenous to the land, which refers legally to the origin inhabitants occupying a land prior to the Europeans' invasion. And I use the term occupying here because ownership of the land was in fact a European construct. Whereas for us, earth was originally, in the spiritual sense, our provider, not property. Excuse me. In the 4th century, a Manchurian Chinese missionary under the Shang dynasty named Hoshan, H-O-S-H-A-N, or pronounced Hushan, traveled to the Americas in search of his people. The Imperial East, the Yi, the Dark Manchurian, or Qings, originally when the East Yi arrived in this particular area of Asha, or Major. They first encountered our ancient forebearers, the Omic meanings. I mean, I can break down so much old science. When they would talk about the rubber people, for their importing of the rubber tree, only indigenous to Africa. At the Yi interface, they subsequently interbreeded, birthing the Aboriginal, whom inherited the lower kingdom of the land, which they named Mu-Ixen, Mushan, which is a combination of Old Meccan, Ashuric, or Aramaic word mu, which means one singular, and or, land along which the Manchurian word Zen or Exen, pronounced phonetically Shan, named after the noble missionary of the East, Hin Sun or Hin Sun. This Mu-Ixen or this Muings over time metamorphosized through various dynamics to Mixan, which in turn became Mixian, pronounced phonetically Mixan, and Mixano to what we now pronounce Mexico. The tribes inhabiting these lower lands were quite diverse, many of which may be further explored by visiting the indigenous Nikan Tika movement. If you understand that and research those people, one of the major tribes or of the lighter tone or more recessive lineage, which remixed at a point with the more dominant indigenous Olmec being what many refer to as the Hopi or the Hopi. And the Hopi or the Hopi were taught the religion or were spiritually religion to and with the mystic and the ancient scientific teachings of their distant Dogon forebears, effectively as astronomical reconnecting the Hopi to their pre-Egyptian kingsmen of 3,200 BC and their traditional myth stories of the stars regarding their mother light Cyrus and the invisible to the human eye, comparing to Cyrus B. Several hundred years later, a much longer period of time existing of the so-called United States, the Hindu East, erroneously called the Indians. They migrated to the region, breeding into the Mongolia, or the Mongoloids, or the Mongoloids, of relating to the broad division of humankind, including the indigenous people of Eastern Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Arctic region of North America. Majestic noblemen, the peoples now know as the Inuit and the Eskimo, who migrated from north to Canaanite and Alaska. Of old also the Aztec, the Inca, the Toltec. What you mean? How is everyone dealing with COVID-19 with family who have to proclaim nationality? What's your take on what's happening in the respective globally on esoteric? No, but that's a different teacher. I got to stay in the teachers, man. Those are other questions for just Q&As. I'll tell everyone more to stay safe and continue to do the things. It's an immune system. Keep building your immune system up, eating healthy, eating your fruits and vegetables and work out. But that's a whole nother question. That's a whole nother teaching, Morris. I want to stay where I'm teaching. And the Maya, also known as archaeologically, and the 5 barbarian nations, linguistically derived from or related to as Barbers or Berbers. The Barbary Coast or the Berber Coast was the term used by the Europeans from the 16th until the 19th century to refer to much of the collective land of the Berber people. And today the term Grater, G-R-A-T-E-R, Maghreb, or simply Maghreb, corresponds roughly to Barbary. The term Barbary Coast emphasizes the Berber coastal regions and cities. The term Barbary Coast emphasizes the Berber coastal regions and the cities throughout the middle and the western coastal region of North Africa, what is now Morocco, Algeria, Tunis, Libya. The English term Barbary and its European varieties, Barbaria, Barbarity, referred mainly by many to the entire Berber lands, including non-coastal regions deep into the continent, and seen in the European geographical and political maps published during the 17th and the 20th century. The name is derived from the Berber people of North Africa. Y'all, hope y'all know that. In the West, the name commonly evoked the Barbary claims. Many call pirates. They call them pirates. Corsairs, all the same. And Barbary slave traders based on the coast, who were told frequently attack ships and coastal settlements in the Mediterranean and the North Atlantic, capturing trade vessels, slaves, and goods from Europe to the so-called New World and Sub-Saharan Africa, which were ensued by the barbarian wars. It was said that the slaves and goods were traded and sold throughout the Moorish Ottoman Empire, and depending on certain clandestine circumstances, even the Europeans themselves. I encourage everybody and challenge everybody to fact check everything that I say. That's why I say this is scholarship. I'm not here for you to believe nothing. I encourage you to fact check everything on all aspects of my research. Original thoughts and or reconceived assertions to improve upon through the uncovering of further valuable empirical evidence and material found to the contrary. We build on it. That's why we don't destroy nothing. When you found mathematics, when you found out that 2 + 2 was 4, and now you understand that 2 × 2 is 4, you don't get rid of mathematics. Those are tools in our toolbox. The only thing of value in the art of learning is truth. That's why I tell Moorish truth has no size, not mere reasonable conjecture. This is the most important fact you will ever receive. And I invite you to pause in order to give yourself the well-deserved opportunity to honestly analyze with a critical clarity the following fact that I'm about to give to you. Most of what you have over time been conditioned to believe, when I say belie, you think you know, has for the most part been only system-sanctioned material provided by individuals serving Eurocentric, agenda-driven social institutions, which historically have within dynamic consequently proven themselves never to have been interested at the heart of the truth. And this alone and by itself provides ample logic to comprehend the reality to what you believe you know is true is in actuality simply accumulated assertions and postulated propositions systematically provided to serve and to stand as the basis of your perceived reality, both conscious and subconscious. Therefore, if most of what you believe you know is primarily supported by the predetermined social belief system of those who consistently throughout history have collectively always proven Moors themselves never to have had our best interests nor well-being at heart, then by logical common default, Moors, most of what you think is by design, not in your best interest nor well-being. And basically what it all boils down to is this: what you believe or what you belie, what you think you know, is not for your own good. The Mayans rejected certain spiritual humanitarian practices of their noble Obic ancestry, gravitating more toward mythos of their Manchurian lineage, and began, we've been told, practices that involve human sacrifices and all those stuff. But we got to stay in the context of who we are. The Delta region would, in its distant future, come to be known as Greece, which in Europeans still identify as being the birthplace of their cultural civilization. But the much greater complement of the migrating banished the Mayan tribesmen mixed with those of the southeastern indigenous Mongolian tribes, bringing into the being the Angkor, or the Angkor, the Angkor, whose modern day name is Cambodian, which provides cause for a great appreciation as to why many ancient Cambodian temple ruins reflect the the hermitage of the Mayan empires and the ancestries, even more especially so with the understanding that the word Mayan itself means illusion and or vanished, that we find emerging within the mortual exploration is a broader understanding of the term Moorish, itself reflecting a much more vast and diverse universality, significance, which may at first elude the newly awakening novice in their quest, initial sojourns in the pursuit of truth and navigation toward their unlimited destination, seeking a greater understanding of self and our place within our sea of humanity, our universe, and of course, ultimately, our Creator, in which one day we shall all no doubtedly again and return. So when we talk about ontology, that science, the philosophy, the study of nature, of being, becoming, existence, or reality, as well as the fundamental, essential, and primary categories of being and the relation, right? Is what the Eurocentric version of these Pirates movies is what. That's right. The majestic Seminoles. When I tell you all over who we were, the extremely brave Seminoles of the Creek Confederacy, whose language was called Muskogee or Muskogee, Muskogean, were noted for their fierce and long resistance of the Europeans' bloody, relentless encroachment on their families and lands. I hope y'all know this. The word Oklahoma was formed from two Choctaw words, O-K-L-A and Buma, B-U-M-M-A, describing the territory as now being a land of much split and red blood of humans. The Seminoles merging into Andrew Jackson's devastating Cherokee Nation, forced relocation. That's the Act of 1830, in which tens of thousands others also died en route as a result in an international poison of the blankets used during the brutal winter death march, shed some insight into how Muskogee, Oklahoma came to be. Y'all know that, right? A lot of the Seminoles were forcefully marched to distant intermediate areas or reservations. We all talk about these reservations are owned by Europeans, with vast numbers sold, bartered, and trafficked as enslaved chattel in exchange for provisions required to feed the mass migration, which became another tributary to which has come to be known as the Trial of Tears, to the distant territory of Oklahoma. When I tell y'all the doctrine of discovery, I'm telling you the bag is deep. The Pueblo and the Meso tribes was a direct result of the ungrudging relations between the Husans, the ECI, Manchurian immigrants, and the Autochthonous indigenous Olmec, giving rise to the heterogeneous Aboriginal American tribes of North America, which culturally, as well as genetically, supports the synonymous constitution of our brethren, referred to today as Mexicans, which is a term not derived from legitimate science, anthropological science, but rather it's a byproduct of ignorance, Eurocentric, misnomers, and a physical introduction of artificial borders established by the systematic encroachments of the European land grabbers. And they promote the similar ill will convictions. I'm telling you, man. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Asiatic Moors may also aid in providing a more substantial scientific alternative understanding our vast diversity culturally as well as phenotypically. We got to understand the differences in hair types and skin and tone and bones and muscle structures resulting from the interactions of biologically diverse genotypes which emerge as a result of variety of physical environments. It also helps us appreciate how the more common explanation of the slave rape is not by any means nor measure the exclusive reason for our vast diversity. Just as there is nature endless shades, hues, and diverges of visual distinction among every species of beings, be it planet, animal, mineral, which is clearly not due to the artificial manipulation. Do you think the great God Allah only gonna make a certain you? You got to be crazy. We too, as a product of nature, have naturally evolved, contrast which account for our vast and magnificent spectrum of natural beauty, aside that from which our limited educations have provided. When we talk about the color spectrum, everything comes from dark to light. We talk about minerals as being applicable to species was not an era. Minerals was purposely as well as rightfully noted in this science, in this context, even though it's well understood that by Western standards, such substances as solid, inorganic material, the elements found within our body table or our periodic table, I'm sorry, our periodic table, excuse me, Morris, would not be included in any reference to species. Why? But the big picture, the big elements should be included among the list of living entities. Although Western philosophy would not categorize minerals among aspects of nature, which he would consider as living beings, elements are, despite what we have been taught to respect as forms of life, are in fact life forms. An excellent reference to further your understanding as to why this is to be found is within T.H. Borner's book titled The Light of Egypt, the science of the should and the stars, in 2 volumes, in which it explains that although the particular form of or quality of life existing as an aspect of mineral is not necessarily what we could, in the most normal of circumstances, living, if they are still nevertheless alive. In that although a mineral's quality or quantity of sentiment, its consciousness and capacity to perceive, it is not a pronounced as it is the more advanced cosmological biology of the plant, insects and animals, or even lesser sentiment beings, viruses, bacteria. We all want to talk about this coronavirus, all this stuff. Lower cell life forms lacking free will and freedom of thought. So I want to stop right there. I'm done. I don't want to keep going because we can pick up tomorrow. When we talk about the letters of George Washington, I encourage all Moors to be students, man, because it's a higher teaching. We ain't even got into the niggers, the blackamoor, or excuse me, the Negro. I said the nigger. We talk about the Negroes as the original Indians. When I break down proof in the Jesuit letters, when we break down all this science down, and a lot of stuff was given to the Nation of Islam in the 30s and the 60s, and then you got to ask, well, why they don't teach it now? Because they taught more science. When I talk about the ancient Kufic script, so I encourage Moors to be students. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, and we'll finish where we stopped off at. Because I don't want to, be too long-winded. We 2 hours in, and that's enough. Any questions? I told y'all a letter that was written from George Washington, that was the 9th U.S. president, to our Moorish Empire, Sultan Muhammad Ibn Abdullah, in which you would talk about, in which you would note was located in the Empire State, which was New York, and a letter from the former White House Chief of Staff, Rahm Emanuel, and obtain a better understanding of how your history has been held from you purposely to this day. I'm telling you, you must look that stuff up. Man, I'm telling y'all, man. Other Aboriginal and Indigenous subset tribes of the ancient Olmec, which were also nearly obliterated or just wiped out. When they wiped out the Tasmanian devils, they wiped out everything. They shipped the Norse from the Jamaican Maroons to Nova Scotia. They always did this stuff. By the Europeans, such as the Incas, were culturally observed and historically reminted by the terms such as Latino. I'm telling you, man. So any questions, man? I'm done. We need all Moors to become students and members. That's right, and let's make this happen. I'm telling y'all, man, once I get 100 Moors, we do the workouts, we do the teachings, we do history class, we do business class. Man, I haven't even started doing my spiritual yoga, especially our martial arts, our Wing Chun. I call it sticky hands. We teach our babies, all tax exempt, just like these churches. And you get a tax exempt receipt at the end of the year. I'm telling you, man. Any more questions? We got 5 more minutes. Any questions? I'm done. I encourage Moors to be students. Like I said, I'm writing Moors down. I don't like to answer a whole bunch of people questions that's not a student, because why? I mean, just like if you got in trouble and you say, oh, am I getting in trouble? And you need a legal rep. A lot of Negroes will get an attorney. What you think it's going to be free? Absolutely not. That's why I tell Moors, you should want to be a student. If not, I'm not for you. And I'm cool with that. I told y'all Moors, goodmancaree@gmail.com, GOODMAN, Caree@gmail.com. I email you a copy of our syllabus and our enrollment package. I told y'all we're going to get back started when everything starts back up. We have a one-time $250 fee. You get your fez and all your 7 books for study, because you need your Moorish Quran and all the books that go with it. And then $100 a month is our student dues. And of course you can give offerings, but all our obligation is $100 a month. That's $5 a day for 20 days, and it's fulfilled. And then you can give offerings, and we can have our physical temple out here and continue to build. And then I can show Moors how in every city we can have our small subordinate temple, the Moorish Science, the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Moorish Science Temple and School in your area, if it's 20 Moors, and we satellite, and I travel around and teach. I'm getting ready to go to Vegas. All this over, man. I'll be in Vegas, I'll be in California, and I'm going to Michigan, and we making that round trip. I got Moors all over, and I tell Moors, if Moors want me to come teach systematically, I teach science, I have a fee, and it's $2,500, and it's tax exempt. And I'm like, if 25 Moors aren't willing to donate that, I'm not for them. And we're going to teach and educate. Our baby's going to know it. We're going to have our children and emperors going to have fezzes and turbans. When we have our meeting this summer in Vegas, man, we're going to change this movement. Everybody that have a business, you're going to donate to have your booth set up. We're going to be there for 3 days. We're going to rock and roll. I'm going to show y'all how we barter with each other, and we collect and we do our organization. And everybody that's selling something, we donate to the body. We build. 3 minutes, man. Any questions? Any questions? That's the only way we're going to build. Because see, man, just like when we courting, when you get into a relationship, when you come into your union with your empress, it take a minute. If they don't want to be students, then that's on them. If a person don't want to be student, I don't deal with nobody. I just delete them. Just like if a person going to college and they say this is the courses, and they say this is what it costs to be part of a student, they say I want to learn it. If you don't want to do what it takes to be a student, I just delete them and I just block them. That's all I do. I love deleting and blocking people. I got a whole list, I got a whole list of people. That's what I do. I just block them. Don't make me no different. Like I tell people, I ain't here to entertain nobody. I know people that go to church with their big mama and send their children with money to give to the pastor and get to the church, and then they don't even like what's happening. And so, hey, that's my answer to it. I don't get to know. I just delete and block them. I got a whole list of names too. Right now I got what? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Dang. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I got 23 names. So that's how I answer. That's how I deal with that with people that don't want to be students. Because I say that means we don't want to be educated on something. So I just block them. I'm not here for followers. I'm not here for likes. I'm a teacher and a Buddha. And if a person don't want to learn systematically, that's fine. A person can keep jumping all over. But I'm not finna be here for a person to just be jumping around. I'm courting you. Just like if you was in a relationship. I thought you want to get married and teach and know the science for your children can learn it. So we can build something together. That's why I say it's going to be a lot of Moors looking at the bubble. They're going to be outside looking at the bubble because we're going to continue to build. We're going to have a physical temple. We're going to be owning things. I already got 40 acres. I'm going to show Moors how we're going to get another 50 to 60, and we all going to start building our cabins on our land. We're going to have our Moorish ranch. So that's how I deal with Moors that don't want to be students. Don't make me no difference. This is the Burning Bush Tabernacle Moorish Science Temple and School. If a person continue to come on the teachings and they come on the teaching, they've been on the teachings for 10 and 20 times, I got to ask a person, what's their purpose? if who start to put you down, come on, these are the questions that if who start to put you down from learning, if they start to put you down for trying to learn, should we move away from them? If who start to put you down, you shouldn't be worried about nobody putting you down. You should be like a horse whip. You an adult. This ain't no popularity contest. If who put you down? My family here. My family, man, I told you I do real life. I do real business. I teach in the world, all nationalities, man. I read contracts. This is what I do. My family love what I do. My empress love what I do. So what you mean if people learn it, they put you down? Who? That means you operate on some spookism. Oops. Ism? That's mine. So are you referring to your family? Because that's what are you referring to your family? If your family referring to you, well then, Noble, you must show them what this teaching is all about. Because I'm teaching scholarship. I have real degrees. I ain't no Negro out of prison talking no spookism. I have real degrees in the world. I don't know yet, Maura. I haven't looked at it yet. But if your family do that, then that means I bet you all your family Christians and go to church, and some Muslims. I teach science. I know all the religions. I done been through the fire. This will make you a better, more. This don't make you no rogue, or this no, you finna be squatting in the house. This ain't no criminal. Nothing is criminal. That's why I say, man, when I go out, I'm a noble, and I get respected from all different nationalities. I wear my fez everywhere. I'm a noble. This is science, man. I'm a real scholar. My email is goodman-curry, GOODMAN @gmail.com. goodman-curry @gmail.com. But that's my answer more when I said, when I deal with Moors that don't want to be students. After they be on my page for 5 times and I ask a certain questions, I delete. Because everybody else sacrificing and I'm building a school. I told y'all in a minute, once we got our members, our web page will be up and rolling, and I won't be doing any messages on YouTube or nothing. Yep. But once we got our 100 members and students, and everybody is sending their donations in, none of this stuff, everything will be off YouTube, and everything will be on our temple and school page. All our item page, you'll be able to go on our page and get your turbans, your fezzes. You'll be able to go on our page and get all your books. You'll be able to go on there and see when the teaching is going to be at the temples. You'll be able to go on there and see when I got speakers engagements. You'll see what the donation it is for me to come to your area and teach. All that'll be on our page for members and students. That's what I'm doing. I'm courting us. Any other questions? And we should want to be students. We should want our degrees to be raised up. That's what this is about. That's the whole thing about the ish of us being Moorish. Our empresses should be wearing our fez. Our children should be wearing the fez and their turbans. It's our national headdress. Any more questions? You should wear your fez proudly, understanding the laws that protect you. Any more questions? We got 5 more minutes, man, and I'm done. I'm about to smash. Any more questions? Tomorrow we going live with our Moorish workout, our home workout. We going live at 12 noon, Arizona time zone. We're going live with that more power workout. Get your core up, get your libido up. I'm telling you. Any more questions, Moors? If not, I encourage Moors to be students. But that's the best way I can answer that question you asked, brother. He asked me, how do I deal with people that don't want to become students? I just delete them. That's all. Ain't no biggie to me. I told you, I'm not here for no likes. I'm not here for no followers. That's not my thing. I'm a student and a teacher and a Buddha and a scholar. And I'm going to show y'all 100 of us. 100 of us can do way more than 1,000 people, or somebody got a million followers to talk about them more. And everybody that's sending donations to them to live their life. I call them full-time YouTubers with fezzes on. That's their life. And I'm gonna show y'all when we send our donations to a real organization that we're gonna build our temple, we're gonna have classes, we're gonna show these Moors. Yep. $250 is a one-time fee, and you get everything is a tax-exempt receipt. You get a tax-exempt receipt at the end of the year for every donation that you send in. Every donation. And with that $250 fee, you get your fez, you get all your books, your 7 books for study. You get your turban and all that. And then our one time, and that's a one-time fee. And then our member dues is $100 a month, which is $5 a day for 20 days fulfilled. Of course, you can give donations as we teach, which we should all do. But everything you get a tax-exempt receipt. When you get literature from me, when you get your books from me, which is a donation, you get a tax-exempt receipt. Just like if you was a part of your religious organization. When you get your fezzes, when you get your hats, like all the hats that I make for our organization, all our Moors, those are hats. Those hats for us. I don't make those to sell to anybody. Those for our body. It's a donation. Our jackets, once our jackets be done, bam, those for us. All the hats I made with the compression shirts that we getting ready to finish, that's for members and students. I don't care about selling nothing to nobody else. This is for us. And we're going to show y'all 100 more. It's going to show all these people, these so-called grand sheiks that talk about they grand sheiks as a temple. And I'm like, what temple? I don't know what temple you have. We're going to show them what we are. And they're going to still be nowhere, going all around. Do you have any history on the Shawnee tribe? Yep, I sure do. Yep, I sure do. Remember, man, the name was different. And I'm going to show you how a lot of stuff was renamed. Watch. I'm going to show you that. But your grandma should know it. Out of the descendant of, Noble, of Pocahontas. Noble, you just touched something. I got to show you this and I got to be done. You just talked about it. Since you said it, Noble, this should tremble your heart right here. This should tremble your heart. I'm about to show you something and I'm going to leave. Since you sparked it, watch this. I'm going to show you something. And I'm going to show you the history of Pocahontas, how the European destroyed that. You see this more in our adapt science? What that say? What that say, Noble? I'm going to break that down about that. I'm going to give you a little crash course on it since you asked about that, Noble. I'm telling you, man, our science, I'm telling you. I'm going to give you a little history on that. I want to deep all into it. The first lessons in American history. Pocahontas, the Indian princess. Not far from Jamestown lived King Powhatan, Powhatan, a great Indian chief. He had a young daughter named Pocahontas. He was very proud of her, loved her devotedly, and gave her everything she asked for. One day, some warriors came into the village bringing Captain John Smith. Research who Captain John Smith is. What? Yep. John Smith. You right? What you say, no, but I don't even know what the question you said. John Smith, a prisoner. Captain Smith, a prisoner. They had captured him while on the expedition of the Chickahominy River. They had started to kill the brave young captain at once, but he had held the Indian guide, blah, 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 blah. But as I get into that story, man, I can tell you about all that history. You know? About that story of Pocahontas. You know? The 20 people, are they founded by me? Man, what are you talking about, man? What you talk about, are they founded by me, man? What question are you asking? The 20 people, are they founded by me? What you mean? More. What you talk about, Noble? I'm trying to be patient. Okay, the 20 people are founded by you. What do you mean, out of 20 people founded by me? What do you mean? What do you mean by that, out of 20 people founded by me? I mean, you losing me with that. If you part of a school and you part of a certain auspices, what are you? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying. But we got names written down because that's what we do. Because I'm not here for no confusion and to answer a whole bunch of questions that don't make sense. Like, that don't even make sense. That don't even make sense, man. When I talk about come on, man. That's common sense. Where else do the people come from? I mean, where do people come from? Us gathering people. The people come from us gathering the people to the storehouse. We close with 100. That's why I said we getting ready to be done and we getting ready to be off of YouTube. I'm a missionary. If the people that we have is cover the teachers, then everybody else bring people in. Everybody's supposed to be divine ministers. If everybody can bring a person to the right teaching, that's our job. That's our obligation. Any more questions, man, for we can be done? You know, Any more questions, we can be done. And you see how Moors come with the idiotic stuff? Moors come with stupid things. But hey, it is what it is. All we tell Moors is as we build and continue to build our school and build our temple, you can look at every other nationality, every other religion, and you can sit back and watch. Because that's what most people is gonna do. They will sit back and watch. Because that's what most people out, they here to just not be a part of nothing. You know? You know? Yep. I relate to John Rills as well. Also, I trace my lineage through Europe as well. That's right. That's right. That's right. So we must educate, man. And this is what I tell all of us Moors. We'll send our children to schools, to these churches, and let other people educate us, and we won't come under the auspices and build our own. Noble. I just gave it clear how you can get the Moors. Please listen. If you want the enrollment package and the syllabus, send your email to my email, goodmancurry@gmail.com, and I'll send you the enrollment and the syllabus. And you can go over it if you want to, and go over it, meditate on it with your family, and then proceed. This is a choice and a gift. And we're building. You know, this is a gift. And when, like I'm telling Moors, we done been to all these other educational places, sent our schools, our babies to all these places, and then we come out uneducated. And when I correct the teachings, I'm gonna show y'all peer-reviewed scholarly research. I'm gonna show Moors peer-reviewed scholarly research systematically that any student can take this to college and enter university, and they can say, oh, they can't deny it. They might not like your candor, but it's peer-reviewed. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And so I challenge Moors to become students. If not, that's fine. I love everybody. Any more questions? We got 3 minutes left because I've been talking for 2 hours. We got 3 more minutes for any questions. And watch as we have the physical temple, we be teaching systematically and we grow up. We teach everything. We teach the zodiac laws. We teach history, business, finance. I'm gonna show us how we have our businesses and how the laws protect us and how we use our finances just like everybody else. We pull ourselves up from our bootstraps and the laws is gonna protect us. Any more questions? 2 minutes, man. Any more questions? Empress, I'm ready to eat. All right, with that being said, Moors, I love y'all, man. Islam, Islam, Islam. Take care of yourself. Keep your immune system up. Stay with that vitamin C. Drink your teas. Mix it with that turmeric and the ginger and your lemon, your limes. Make it, a lot of times, sit and engulf them vapors. Do all that. And tomorrow I'll see y'all at 12 noon AZ time zone for our workout. I love y'all, man. Islam.